Good morning. So often, when I think back and remember my life, prior to now, my loved ones, I think about people I knew who had an impact on my life. One of the themes that often I find is that things that at the time seemed really to be annoying or difficult or frustrating or stupid, that now with some years of perspective and I look back, they suddenly are meaningful. And I realized that they weren't, what I thought they were when I was a kid or a teenager with a bad attitude, which I was. I had a terrible attitude. Most teenagers do, to be honest, in my experience. But at any rate, from the time I was very young, my grandmother, my mom's mom, she was a wonderful woman. She and I shared a birthday, which was always really fun. She just had so much energy and joie de vivre. She was not an educated woman. She graduated from high school and pretty much went to work at an Air Force base during World War II. She was that generation and kind of exemplified it. She was sort of Rosie the Riveter. And then they got married, and she and my grandpa had a family and raised a family and were super involved in their community. And anyway, just wonderful people. My grandma loved music. She loved to sing. She hadn't had training or lessons or anything, but she loved music, and she learned enough that she could kind of pick things out on the piano a little. So one of the things she made us do every year, and I hated this so badly, especially like as a younger kid, she made us go every year. There was a nursing home, like a assisted living, I guess we call it, but near her house. And I think it actually was part of their congregation, maybe. And anyway, she would make us, all of us, so my mom had 4 siblings, and they were all generally lived close by, so all of my mom's siblings and then all their kids, we all had to go every year to this nursing home and do a little program for Christmas. And that usually consists of maybe all of us learning a song and singing it together as a family, and then someone would usually, I think probably my dad, gave a little Christmas message or something. I would sing a solo or play the piano, or my cousins might sing too, or anyway, we all did little, so it was like one big act and then kind of our own little thing. And oh my goodness, how I hated this. I dreaded it every year. The nursing home always smelled really bad. When you're young, the people were very old, and they were not, seeing really old people who were kind of in their last stages can be alarming. They sometimes say, strange things or blurt out things, and they don't all have their senses and their faculties with them. That's hard to be around, especially when you're young and you don't really understand it. Anyway, we had to do this every year, year after year after year after year, and oh my goodness, I just hated it, and I never stopped hating it. And we did that for I don't know how long. I probably honestly, my grandma had a stroke. Probably did it until then, and maybe a little bit after. But anyway, this was like a family tradition, and then we would go have it was usually, I think, tied into our Christmas, like our family Christmas party. At any rate, we did this year after year after year, and I didn't like it, even as an older kid, sometimes even worse. The smells, the noises, just, seeing people who were without their faculties or were in really pitiable, physical condition. It was hard. But now I look back on that, and I'm just blown away by the gift that my grandmother gave me. I'm sure those people probably enjoyed it. You know, I think it was probably sweet. I think I can imagine how I would feel now. If I, 30 or 40 years, imagining, like some really sweet kids singing, and playing the piano, and doing a little Christmas program. That would be neat. But the impact, I think, was as much on me as it was on them. My grandma insisted that we do this before we went and just had our own celebration. There's such a lesson in that. She also just made, I'm sure I wasn't the only one who disliked it. I know all my siblings did, but she didn't care. She just pushed past any objections and insisted in her way that we do this. My grandma brought light to people. She brought joy to people in her own little realm, and it was a small little realm, tiny little town, a little nursing home in a small town, and yet that was her place. That was what she did. I'm more and more convinced that it's not the size of what we do, it's not the scope and the magnitude of what we do, but just simply what we do in whatever little area we have, whatever little stage we occupy. And now every year when I think about Christmas, my first thought is, what can I do for someone else? What can I do? And that was kind of the habit of mine that my grandma gave me with her insistence. So at any rate, think about what you can do on your little area of life to make someone happier. And you'll find, as always, that makes you happier. Sending you so much love. I'll talk to you later. Love, your internet grandpa.